camera.
Right there, correct?
Or there.
Oh.
He'll go back and forth.
Where do I look?
And then all of a sudden...
This is Mainstream Metaphysics with your host, Nick Newmont.
Well, hey there. It is a very hot Tuesday in Southern California. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics. I'm Nick Newmont here in the studios of Conejo Valley Talk Radio. Joining me tonight is Gina Ann. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're
So excited
welcome.
to be here. It is hot.
It is. The temperatures look like NBA basketball scores, triple digits.
It is.
Right?
108 when I drove in.
Man, oh man, and hotter Thursday.
Yes, that's what I read. And Lucky Redondo is like 77.
I'm coming down there.
You're welcome.
Jeez. Welcome. We took last week off, got away for a little bit, and happy to be back. There's quite the buzz in the air, isn't there? Uranus went retrograde the other day.
As I call it, Uranus.
Right.
Because it's been a Uranus of a time.
Well, and people are being, hi Audrey, thanks for watching.
Hi Audrey, hi y'all.
People are being anal right now. Jeez. Oh my God.
Or assholes.
Right? Yes. Well, that is, since we went there, that explains nature's imbalance, that there are more horses' asses than there are horses.
I agree.
Right?
There are some great people, not discounting that, but at this time, especially with the moon, I feel like we all have these moon hangovers.
Right? Right?
So
yeah, we just had the new moon, last night. So, but fortunately it's a Virgo new moon, so it like tempers that a little bit.
Very organized.
Yeah, much more. Well, with the Uranus retrograde, which happened on the 1st, one of the things that people do is they overcompensate for change, because Uranus is the planet of erratic change. It rules earthquakes. You think Mercury retrograde causes stuff with your electronics? Uranus rules Aquarius, which is all the wireless and all the modern technology. So hold on to your hats.
We had the Saturn as well, right before this.
We have Saturn retrograde until the middle of November.
Right.
We have Pluto retrograde until around October the 12th. And we have Jupiter that is going to go retrograde in October. Unfortunately, we don't. And Neptune is retrograde all the way into late December, I believe. So what we have right now is the outer planets, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all retrograde, which means we're being affected on a much deeper way and not as obvious as, say, a Venus or a Mars or a Mercury retrograde.
Yeah,
it's much different.
None of them are bad or good.
No.
I mean, they're all for a purpose. Mercury retrograde gets a really bad rap. However, they all have their place. Saturn is like, okay, it's time to kick it up a gear.
Right.
Mercury is like, this is what's presented to you. And Saturn is like, okay, now it's time to kick it up. It's time to get on the horse and ride.
Right.
Is how I've always seen it.
Yeah, and Saturn retrograde.
Hi,
buys
Elon.
time.
Shalom.
Welcome. Thanks for watching. So here's a few do's and don'ts in Uranus retrograde.
I love it.
Okay? Because it's radical change. So what do? Thoughtfully make changes. In other words, mete out changes, M-E-T-E. Moderate, okay, and make adjustment. Act more independently, okay? If you have something you need to do, don't look for teamwork in the Uranus retrograde, because it's Aquarius. Reconnect with friends. Uranus rules Aquarius, which is the 11th house, which is your social life, groups, organizations, clubs. So it's a time maybe to get back into, do you need to network? Now's the time to do it. Allow yourself to dream. The 11th house is called hopes, dreams, and wishes. So go back. What dream is unfulfilled? What wish is there that you still want to go back? Is there a bucket list from a long time ago? or is there an effort list?
Exactly.
Now, what don't you do, okay, during Uranus retrograde? Don't act like a rebellious, spoiled teenage brat, okay? Don't have a radical kind of mindset or obstinate mindset, okay?
Ego.
Right, exactly. Don't abandon your causes. Don't give up in Uranus retrograde, and don't give up hope in Uranus retrograde. But above all, as I like to say, and it's something that our generation will get, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in Uranus retrograde.
That's right. That's right.
Because otherwise we overcompensate. The Uranus retrograde is like a pendulum, and it goes too far this way, but we want it to modulate and moderate. Otherwise it goes back over here, and then everybody dumps out, what they've started. And of course with Saturn retrograde, don't panic. Don't panic.
Yeah.
Just,
Don't let the fear.
Exactly. Oh.
Hi, Becca.
Hold on to that word fear.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to that because you said the magic word. But you have a tendency to do that when you're on the show. A few events that are coming up. One, beginning this coming Monday, September 9th, we start the meditation and channeling series at the Newmont Center, which you can attend live or on Zoom, and information will go out as a reminder. And then on Saturday, September 14th, we have the Intentional Healing class, which is a lecture about for healers and also how to make those chakra plates, which you'll see about that. You probably have fun in that class, by the way.
Yeah, that would be fun.
How to make those discs that are put on the body. And then, and this is one of the main reasons that Gina Ann is on the show tonight.
Uh-oh. I just showed up. I have no idea what the surprise
she was
is.
out in the halls. I go, what are you doing here? Come on, be on the show. So on Saturday, October 26th, the psychic panel is back. You, Mary Elizabeth, and Inanna, and myself, we are back and look forward to that. So more info will go out on that. Other events coming at the Newmont Center, we won't get into those tonight. But the psychic panel, we're going to have a full house that day because people really like the four of us.
Yeah, I can't even explain what happened even after it. I mean, people were still buzzing and reaching out, and we were in this kind of, I don't like the word vortex because it sounds too clinical, but it was really a beautiful set of I'll say we were like sound bowls working off each other. Right. So
yeah, it was a great synchronicity, and nobody stepped on each other's toes, and everybody said very profound things.
No competition. It was just It was just symbiotic.
Well, I must tell you, and this is something if you haven't had a session with Gina Ann, at that psychic event, the psychic panel, there's Karen. Yep, there she is.
Hi, Karen.
You were talking to one of Audrey and my clients, and you got into this stuff about her grandmother, and were describing and something about a hat and how she had to behave as a kid. And I just sat back and listened to you, and she was in the corner just, yes, oh yes, oh yes. I mean, it was really cool how you read into her and her relatives, how that went. I mean, that was fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
When we work together as well, kind of, if someone wants to, when they're open, I become more open.
Right.
I know we've all had where, they want to test the psychic. And so can still read, but, energetically I'm like, oh, the higher self is not, wants to be read, but the human figure does not. So I don't remember that I read that because when I'm in that channeling,
of course.
I don't recall.
Yeah, people
But
come up.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Surely. Hi, Kirby.
Hi,
Hello
Kirby.
from Pennsylvania. Yeah, people come up. I love this, and God bless people. They'll go, 2 years ago you read for me, and you remember you told me, and I go,
I don't.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Which is a good thing. We've got to clear it. If we held on to everything,
you
my
lose your
goodness.
mind.
Right, even more.
Even more, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we don't remember, especially when we're channeling, because we're not supposed to remember, because it's not for us.
That's right.
Unless it's one of those things where you're talking to someone, not in a group necessarily, but privately, and you say something as direction for them, and it's like it hits the wall and comes back to you. And you go,
exactly. I was just talking to Rebecca and saying, when you give a healing, you receive one.
Right.
It's equal.
Right.
And
there are times we are supposed to hear something we tell someone because, I could work on that too.
Right. Absolutely. We're a mirror sometimes.
Right. Oh, a lot. So a moment ago, when you said the word fear, I was in meditation a couple days ago, and I was really jazzed about talking about this, because you don't know what I'm going to say. And
I'm psychic.
Well, maybe you do. You said something before the show came on. It was spot on accurate.
Thank you.
That should come true.
Thank you.
She's good. She's very good.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So what happened in my meditation the other day, and this is when I'm getting into it with the spirit guides, it's not just me meditating, and it had to do with the election, the upcoming election. And this is what the guides said. They said that the big problem with the upcoming election is not the candidates or the political parties, but it is the voters. And what they said was that thousands and millions of people are in fear of their own agendas, that the wrong candidate is going to get elected.
Right.
And they said it's everybody. And they said this is what has to change, that people have to release the fear in themselves that the wrong candidate is going to get elected. And the guide said that is what's driving everything. And that's what's part of what's making everything so crazy. It's like I refer to it as you kick the anthill, and you see the ants go all over the place.
Right.
So how do you feel about what the guides told me to say?
I mean, I never discount other people's guides.
Right.
What I keep feeling is the election itself and the candidates and the people are buying into the fear of it. It has to get so frightened that it collapses, breaks apart, so we can open for new. I don't think it has to do, it's kind of like when you're married and they don't put away the dishes. It's not about the dishes. It's the fact that you're not hearing me.
Right.
Same with the election. Whoever the candidates, whoever the placement centers are, it's kind of like a coach in a football team. The coach gets blamed for everything, right?
Right.
It's really the fans that make the team. We're the one that make, the candidates who they are.
Well, in football stadiums, especially where the fans are very rabid, up in the stands, it'll say the 12th player. The fans are on a football team is 11 players.
Right. What I keep hearing too with the election, there's going to be some sort of surprise. I mean, I keep getting, and I saw the blackouts, the electrical blackouts, but I also feel like we could shut down again. The universe keeps trying to shake us up like a snow globe, and so I'm not sure when or how. And not to put a panic or a fear, it's just to get quiet again, just like we have to get still within ourselves. So I do feel that with this election, there might be some uproar on the streets.
Right.
So I keep getting riot mentality. Again, I don't want to set fear or any more fear. It's just emotions are very high. This is what happened with the moon and the retrogrades. I mean, people are getting in fights and breaking up and people are going crazy on the road and, there's no consequence.
Right.
And with our children involved, what I see with the children are happening, they're really confused on everything. Do they care about the election? No, they're not even. They just want to cause and they want to scream. And, the wars that are happening around the world, they're not really feeling or looking or researching what's happening. They just want to make a stand in their own.
Right.
So we're losing the community unity in that. Oh, thank you, Audrey. Yes. Please.
We are losing that feeling of community. We really are. And people are being hyper-reactive right now. And without knowledge of policies and platforms, people are just, well, that's why the guide said that people have this deep fear that the wrong one is going to get elected, and that's feeding into it.
There's no right or wrong. It's going to be. Now we have to flow with it, and if we work together, that's in everything. If we work together for the highest good and no harm to none, we can come up and build and rebuild.
Well, in future shows coming up before the election comes, I will come forward with all the important charts of candidates, the country, finance, and I will be very open about what I see.
Well, the finance is big, I feel.
Right.
Before my left hand was just itching. Left hand is finances.
Incoming.
Incoming too. So, and it's also female for me.
Yes, that's true.
Male is right. But there's going to be a major shift in that as well. We're going on the outskirts. People really have to think what I call outside of the banking system. Instead of outside of the box, outside of the banking system.
Right. Well, there's big changes coming with that, and
it's global.
Right.
It's global.
It is. There are big global shifts, and it's ultimately stuff that has to happen.
Right.
I feel like some of these things that we could say they should have happened already. It's just like a bow and arrow, and the more it pulls back, when it does release, oh my God, is it going to go?
Yeah. But not to put fear. This is good.
It's not.
There's no negative. I mean, again, it's just awareness. It's awareness. It's like every time you get in your car, what do? You put your seatbelt on.
Right.
It's called preventative. So just being aware. Once you're aware, you're already a step ahead.
Well, I think if people, because there could be blackouts and things like that. I mean, even as we sit here right now this week, every day this week is going to get progressively hotter. Well, there could be blackouts from that.
Absolutely.
Not predisposed, that manipulated. It could be just stuff that.
Yeah. Well, our weather is really, really crazy all around, and especially California is. I've always felt, as I said before, New York and California are twin flames. And California is the love and happy, and New York was the energy. New York was hit very hard, and now it has just a different feel to it. Now it's California's turn. So we're getting the landslides and the earthquakes, and it's our turn.
Right.
But we've got to stay in the love, and so we're being what I call focused upon. So this is our time to stick together.
Right. And Uranus retrograde has everything to do with weather and earthquakes.
Okay.
That's a Uranus
Beautiful.
rules.
Okay.
All those, let's call it like acts of God, so to speak. So, things change during Uranus retrograde, but you don't panic.
Right. Because it's not going to serve you. What's panicking going to do? Just increase the anxiety, which we don't need.
Well, and also when people get into worry, I call worry negative affirmation and negative meditation. Because whatever you focus on, you're going to create from those thoughts. So when people sit and worry, it not only doesn't solve the problem, but it puts focus and attention on things that we will create whatever is worried about. Again, that's why the guide said, people are too focused and fearful that the wrong candidate is going to get elected.
There is no right or wrong.
Right.
Is right. It will be what it will be. Nothing's going to happen either way in the sense that wasn't supposed to happen. I know that sounds very flippant, but it's all what I call mapped out.
Well,
we do have free will, but it's mapped out.
Right. And this is a culmination of events that has been going on for decades. It's how this is played out.
There has to be a collapse for it to regrow and rebuild stronger.
That is beginning with next year. We will go through part of 25, 26, and even into 27 with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. The last time this occurred was in around 1989 at the time of the Berlin Wall coming down. I mean, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction will topple regimes. I mean, and when it happened before then, it was around 1952 when we got out of the Korean War. Stalin had died in 1952. The one before that was 1917, was the end of World War I. And things began with
so
that.
You're looking through history, the timeline of,
Yeah, I do astrological history.
Yeah, I love that.
And trace these events. So the one that's coming next year is really important because if there's anything that people feel like tyranny, okay, this is going to tear it down. Remember what Reagan said, back in the late 80s, tear down that wall, Well, that's really prophetic, for that. And by the way, is known after the fact that he and Nancy did seek counsel from astrologers.
They did, yeah. No, I know. There's a female neighbor that she was his bodyguard.
Wow.
And so it was really interesting, all the inner dynamics that went through. Yeah, they believed in astrology and all these intuitive pulls. They didn't run the country that way, but it's a guide.
Right.
I mean, we all have it. We are all born with it. It's just how you foster it and nurture it and nourish it.
Well, in many facets of life, and there are so many people out there that astrology, and it doesn't matter if it's Western astrology or Chinese astrology or Vedic astrology. It's kind of, and you would be surprised how many businesses and how many world leaders, to the point of superstition, really pay a lot of attention to the movement of the planets. And when key planets get into alignment with each other, it's amazing how it's set up to happen on those times.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, you could come to me and say, Nick, look at my chart, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to tell you optimally what the right time is within the power of your choice.
Right.
Sometimes people can't do things, or like Mercury retrograde, like you were saying, and we can't buy into astrological paranoia and go, oh my God, I can't.
Right.
You have to live your life.
That's right.
But there's a lot of things that we're watching, and another thing that came up. This is in my, communication with the guides, that there are things that are unfolding as we speak that a lot of people prior to this point would have said that they are conspiracy theories. And they said people are going to see that these things that are being talked about will reveal themselves as
will come
actual.
into fruition.
Yes, yes. So society is really in for quite the eye-opening experiences.
Can you be specific, because I keep hearing the audience, of one thing that was considered a conspiracy theory that is coming into fruition as we speak? I just keep hearing, my ear keeps buzzing, that they want, like, an example.
Well,
if you can.
There's
I know, I don't want to get sticky.
Yeah, there's things like that regard health. Okay. And
Got
that things are going to get revealed as to things that really went on.
Health-wise.
Yes.
Okay, I hear you.
That's one of them.
Yes.
The other is that the reveal of how global finance is going to change and how we're going to do business, and things that have been, let's call them ancient buried treasure, is going to come to the surface. Yeah. And I'm being literal about that.
Yeah, I hear you.
That these things are going to come up, and they said that there's going to be a shift of the balance of everything, of kind of like haves and have-nots, how it turns.
Amen. Amen to
There's
that.
a lot of things that are going to be coming up, and so just keep your eyes open. What I get very strongly is that, and again, it's not about fear, it's about, how do you say this? Prepare for the worst, but expect the best, okay? And it's amazing in talking with my clients recently how, yes, Karen, I'm here for the shift. Make sure you include the F in that word. What happens if you take the F out of there?
Yeah, exactly.
Ed's back there laughing. There's a lot that's coming up. So
through the shift, so you know who's there for you.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So you know who has your back, so to speak.
Yeah. We'll find out. Look. You have to trust yourself in these processes. like for what I was about to say with some of my clients, and these are people that have some money. They're like not billionaires, but they've got money. And I've said to them recently, so how much do you have in just cash? Well, I don't have any cash. Oh, take your card and go get some cash and have it on the side. Because if things shut down, and how many restaurants now only take cards?
That's right.
We can't do business today. The machine's not working.
That's right.
This is going to happen. Trust us on this.
That's part of the shutdown and
right.
blockages, exactly.
And then I've recommended, and many people have said this, even people that are really conservative, whatever you can afford, go buy actual gold or silver, whatever you find affordable. Have it, because it's currency, and the value is going to go way up.
So great tool, please.
Yes.
These are very valuable tools.
So this is information that we're getting, on a very deep level, and the whole concept of like the buried treasure kind of thing. I'm not being figurative.
Yeah.
I'm being literal on that. There is going to be this release that's going to happen.
Well, interesting, because that's right before the show. That's what I kept feeling, seeing this treasure box.
So we have to be prepared for this, and if you're prepared, and it's like, be prepared for what? That these shifts that are taking place in terms of global finance and things like that, it's like, does it mean that the money you have in your wallet's no good? No, it doesn't mean that.
No.
But we are going to have a lot of changes, and it's a lot of the world is looking for this to happen. 200 some countries.
Yeah, and if there's anything that you have a question, put it in the comments so we can answer. This is your opportunity.
Absolutely. Look, I know that things with all these planetary retrogrades look weird out in the world, at least from what the news shows us.
News, okay.
Okay? Olds. It's the same old thing.
Right.
But, you have to trust yourself within. Trust your instincts on things. Because, does it look weird out there? Sure, I guess so. But can we, really own goodness? Well, of course. Of
course.
What do you expect? What are you expecting? Because when you get into manifestation, and when you're trying to create, of course there's intention, and of course we have motivation, inspiration, and ultimately incentive. But what's your expectation on something? I mean, if the sky is clear, are you going to say, I expect it to rain? Well, of course not. And I'm being kind of silly about that, because look at yourselves before you set an intention. What are you expecting?
Yeah.
Because what you expect goes out there like a beacon of light. Like I've always said, when it comes to the powers of manifestation, if you think something's going to turn to crap, that's what you're going to get. And if you think it's going to be golden, it will. Yeah. That will find its way to you.
Well, and we have to have, we have to live by the fluctuations of life. It's like water flowing, it's very fluid, so it's not good or bad. It's just things are going to be disruptive, and it's just, I feel we're here to deliver the message that you all already know and feel, because everyone on here are, intuition guided,
Yes, of course.
That's why they tune in, right?
Of
Because
course.
we all learn and feed and nurture one another. Again, it's not to be in that fear base, it's just awareness, and how you respond and react to it is how the situation will be.
Which is, that's well put. And so I'd like to hear your take, because what you just said, these people watching, we are preaching to the choir, basically. So what's your take on how you can see everything evolving as moving into fifth dimensional consciousness, leaving behind third dimensional consciousness?
The focus and the feeling I get in the messages, I see it, talking about take one, I see it as a movie film. The old movie films, like,
right.
The cartoons. There's going to be a collapse of ideas, thoughts. What we thought isn't. We've been tested with health issues and financial and economic distress, and So when I see the collapse, then I see this rebuilding of this beautiful, beautiful mosaic of evolvement within the children. We have to get to the children first. I'm always with the children. And we have to get back to their imagination. How does imagination fit on all this? That is the basis of who we are out of the womb. With imagination is intuition. With intuition is our internal guide, is our internal compass. It's how we're made. So this collapse, and then this beautiful mosaic of everyone coming together, and who doesn't want to be a part of it won't, if that's not their journey. So I do see that whoever's supposed to be part of that mosaic will be. Okay, so mosaic or broken glass, right? That's I write children's books, and JoJo, she's a fairy angel, and she's from the galaxy of the wings of children. I purposely made her wings in this mosaic because we've all fallen apart and broken apart, and we didn't give up. We put piece by piece by piece, and now you can fly with the wings. So that's how I see it. I see that we're all going to fly, and the ones that don't want to be a part of it, that is okay. That is their journey. That is their journey, and the ones that want to step in will be in.
Right.
And for me, it's like coming into, see my ears buzzing, talking. So it's like Wizard of Oz. You remember how it was black and white, and then it went to color.
Right.
That's how I see it.
That's really cool.
So it's going to be very vibrant. So
for those folks that are watching and maybe haven't seen you, because you've been on the show a couple times and you've been with Audrey, talk about the children's books. That's so cool.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, for me, I'm the conduit, right? And I'm an inner child specialist, so I can always see the dynamic in which you fell in utero and your whole timeline of your childhood. And so I was inspired to write. I love writing. I used to write, again, growing up in Texas with Charlie the alligator in my tank. I would write poetry, and I always wanted to write children's books, but it wasn't until I was receiving a master's in spiritual psychology, and it just came to me. And these books are conscious stories. Does it say conscious stories in it? No. You just know they're conscious stories about believing in oneself. And she goes on all the adventures, and she meets these critters, and she gets to what I call the higher self of everyone, of all the critters. Like, there's Naga. He's a vegan chef. I'll say they're kind of like what I call, I was a special education teacher for many, many years, and so it's the ones that have this kind of special component. So everyone, we all have this special component about a special challenge, right? We're all special in many, many ways. We all have differences in likeness. And so JoJo, she's here as this kind of internal guide going on these adventures, getting back to the play. So as I say it 1,000 million times, I love when the science procreates with the woo-woo. Because that's where the magic is. And when we're in the state of play and fun, anything is possible.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I mean, again, I give the example every time too. I don't change the narrative because I see and feel it, and there's no age attached to it. We are all still those children. We are those inner children. Kids jump in a mud puddle. I say it. No one says anything. They think nothing of. They're having fun. They're seeing the mud and the water until someone says, "Oh, you ruined your shoes." That's when, every time you see a mud puddle.
That was my story, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
and so, this is, that's, you actually did that, which I said that for years, and here we meet, and it's like, you actually did that.
Me.
It's not about the shoes. So you came before I even met you. And that's one of my things, and, when we have these spiritual awakenings, and with my clients, it's like, it doesn't have to be all, negative, and people usually come to us for three reasons: love, health, and wealth, right? But we can make it enjoyable and fun as well. There's many experiences. Just whatever state of mind and body you're in.
In the logo for our center, it's really interesting because in the years that Audrey and I put our heads together on this, so there are four things actually that people ask about. And it is love and success, health, but also happiness, which is more the mental side. And we describe this as, if it was on the ground, it would be a 4-seat teeter-totter.
Oh, fun.
But what happens is that when we feel that we're lacking in something where maybe this is going well, we overcompensate and go there, and then the teeter-totter goes out of balance. So it's sort of a circle and the four spokes that come in.
Yes.
And in the center, the fifth thing, or the fifth element, is spirit or ether, okay? And so if we stay centered within our spirituality, our beliefs, then health and happiness and love and success will come into balance.
So it's balance. Okay, I was just going to say balance.
Yes.
Yeah, and harmony. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you stand in the center of a device like that, then you are going to balance.
Yes.
It may not be still all the time. You're like, whoa, you know. But that's how life is.
Right.
It's never like that. It's
No,
like,
it'd be boring.
right. It's moves a little bit.
Yeah, those were the good days before. AI is a great guide, but it's taking over as well. AI is another subject that's really interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, for the children, they're using it for everything, you know, and
Right.
it's okay as a guide. Again, they take it to the extreme of abuse, and now we're taking away for our brain capacity when we rely on inputting something for it to spit something back, which is taking away jobs and everything. We're relying solely on inputting and coming out with a quick gratification answer. So when we were kids, we played. We went outside and we played with sticks and dirt, and you know, and we created something out of it. Now everybody's relying on this, so there's no independent thought, which making us what I call numb, brain numb.
And the other, if I may, the other
course.
problem with this, okay, typing, is that it's not handwriting.
Oh.
And I'm a handwriting specialist. And so when you write cursive, it's handwriting is an ideomotor response to the subconscious. So it's not just about reading what someone wrote. When you write, you're programming your brain. And when you write, your eyes see what you write and your brain believes what you see. And so for kids now, always just typing like this, they're not doing that part of the programming.
That's right.
Because you can actually change certain patterns with corrective handwriting. I do that all the time with people.
Spot on. I mean, people used to make fun of me because all my books I write by hand. Then I'll transpose it.
Right.
And for when I was a teacher, I would turn the lights down low because the fluorescent lights plays tricks on the brain and everything. So turn the lights low, and they want it to be on their little phone or I'm like, nope, we're going to take a piece of paper. We're going to actually write. Oh, my hand hurts because they're not used to writing.
Right.
But I didn't have the theory like that. I just knew instinctual. It was better. It connects. They learn better. They learn better when they write it, see it, because you're using all the senses.
Right. And I never got a chance to ask you, your children, or not children, they're grown up, they're adults.
They're my babies, yes.
Right?
They're adults.
But what you do, at what point did you incorporate what you know into their upbringing?
From birth. I mean, we played. So from birth, like we always went on adventures. Like we would walk from our house to the theater, and people would pull, "Are you guys okay?" I'm like, "We're just walking and going on an adventure." I let them play. Actually, video games were very good for my son. It was great hand-eye coordination. It's just there was a limit to it. And I would have, because I'm really directionally challenged. We would drive, and I would ask them, "How do we get home?" I would ask them just to get their sense. Or with food, you know, touching upon the senses. What do you taste? I would always introduce new things to their, not only to their taste buds, to their palate, but to their brain palate. So watching a movie. What do you think of that? What do you think? What was the happy part? What was, without even thinking, I wasn't conscious thinking, oh, I'm teaching them.
Right.
I really was interested in what was going on behind the obvious.
Well,
because it relates to what's going on in their personal space.
What you do there is so fascinating, and I'm sure Audrey is watching. So I'm channeling Audrey here. I think it would be great if you put together a 3, 4, 5 hour workshop that we invite parents and maybe kids and do a workshop at our center.
Oh, I would love that.
Because this is a lot to do with consciousness development and conscious parenting.
Communication is the key. And I mean, I call them play shops. Because once you hear work, who wants more work?
Right.
So I call them play shots because we're playing. We're playing in the energy. Playing is neuroscience. Channeling Audrey. I love it. I would love that. And I love working because in school all day, or when I have clients that are young adults or children, once they go back to the other environment, you have to start from scratch. So that's a great idea. I used to love working with parents and children because it connects them on a certain level.
Right.
It's a mirroring.
I think it'd be great so when we do the work, our psychic panel on October 26th, that we have that workshop, play shop, we'll call it play shop, with flyers to give out that people that come that day, we can tell them when that is.
Well, there's so many games too, like even when we played as kids, charades. What do you think that was? That's intuition games.
Right.
That's brain games.
Oh my God.
Did you ever play Mastermind?
Yeah.
There you go. Great game. All those games we did as children. We were piquing our intuition.
You have got to, revealing things to the public, that once a month or so, we get people together at our center, and we have game night. And Ed is back there, and Becca comes to this, and the game is called Celebrity.
Oh, nice.
Okay? You've got to come and play.
I will.
Because it's one of those things where, everybody breaks out and they get 5, 6, 7 pieces of paper, and you have to write the name of someone famous, real or fictitious character like Harry Potter, and then we pick teams, and they're all thrown in a bowl, okay? And you have to get your team, without saying the name, to guess. You have 1 minute for them to get as many as possible.
Right. That's it. Yay!
Becca said, see, come on, tell her about Celebrity.
Yeah.
So the next one is Sunday, September 15th.
Okay. I'll be gone.
Oh.
It's my mom's birthday, so I'll be celebrating my mom's birthday with my kids.
And where do you go?
Minnesota.
Wow, Minnesota.
So, yeah.
Don't you know?
That's it, don't you know?
We'll let you know when the next one is.
Yeah,
so
thank you, though. That'd be super fun.
Well, the reason that I bring up the game is because you have to pay attention, because when you get to round 2, you can't say all these different clues. Everybody has to pay attention, so you only get to say one word.
Oh, okay? I like it.
And people have to remember what that one word is connected to whoever that individual was. Politician, historian, musician, actor.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. No, I love games. I mean,
and
I love it. It's so fun, and it's so great for kids, and it's so important for kids to get back to that. Remember marbles and all those old games, playing card games are great. Card games were the original tarot cards.
Yes, that's right. They were.
They were the original. They all represent something.
Right.
They're magic. When you pick up a deck of cards, it's magic. You can create so many things with it. They actually have all the answers in it.
And there are books, and I don't know who borrowed my book 20 years ago, but there are some really good books on how to read playing cards.
Yeah, it was a male who borrowed it.
I don't recall who took
okay.
that book. Anyway, but there is a way to read playing cards.
Yeah,
definitely.
There is.
And the suits that are in the playing cards are reflected in the 4 suits in the tarot.
Yeah. The major arcanas.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Which I don't care where any of the cards mean. I'm an intuitive reader, and I don't allow the cards to dictate when I'm reading. They're just confirmation, because most people, 89% of people, are very visual. So when I'm guided to pull the tarot, it usually confirms what we're exchanging.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, and it doesn't matter if you are, hi, Catherine Glass.
Hi.
She is an amazing medium.
Yeah, I can feel. Oof.
Yeah, she's really good. Love when she comes out here from the East Coast and does her galleries, mediumship. Yeah, she's awesome. So, let's see. Well, we've got about 17 minutes left.
Wow, that goes by fast.
All right, so you asked so nicely when we before the show started, and so what I am going to do is I will bring Merlin through, because you asked nicely, and this was not planned, So, and Catherine loves Merlin.
I love Merlin.
So you're going to have to pay attention to the clock.
Okay.
So there's 16.
What do you want me to?
Just tell Merlin, okay, it's time to return the vehicle.
Okay, time.
So
to
let him go
return
for about 10 minutes.
Okay,
and
beautiful.
This was not planned tonight, folks. So, but she asked nicely, and
I love Merlin.
so we're going to do this. Okay, I have no idea what's going to happen. Ed, you must be in your glory. You get Merlin. There's Audrey, Merlin. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take this off.
I can feel. Ooh.
Yeah,
I can already feel.
Yeah.
It's like being on a journey.
Yeah, everything is already changing. Greetings, dear one. Good to be with you.
Likewise.
Dear one, as you are here, and there are those that are, how you say, in the box. They are here, but they are not here. There are great questions in the minds of the humans that seem to ride on this edge of fear and yet wanting truth about events to come. And within the processes of your daily lives, your existences, humans, you are over-prioritizing expectation, the outcome of, how you say, elected officials. You have the cauldron over the fire, and the water has evaporated, and you are simply burning the metal. Do you understand? You must allow yourselves to simmer once again and come around with each other and be with each other in love and in support. You are not as divided as outsiders may have you think. Do you understand? You want what you want within the realm of your existence, to have what you wish to be, how you say, a good life. And yet you fear the existence of these individuals that are human just as you, looking at them as if they will ruin your life. Dear ones, you as the individual are the only ones that can ruin your life. Do you understand? It is not outsiders. You create your life. What you think and what you feel creates the will to manifest. And if your thoughts are full of fear, then you shall manifest things that are not for your benefit. You are in how you perceive challenging times, but they are more of changing times. The old is eroding away, allowing for the new to come in. But you humans, you fear the new, you fear the change. There is nothing to fear, you see. It is simply the change and the erosion of what is no longer significant. It is what no longer bears fruit. When you cut the dead branches off a tree, you are not leveling the entire tree. You are leveling what is no longer productive, you see. You need not tear down. Simply release and eliminate what is dead, you see. You those of you who view, you are getting messages. You are receiving information. And for those of you who are more, how you say, in tune with spirit, have the courage to pass on the messages that contain truth. Humans at this time need truth, you see. And you, dear one, allow yourself to be open to receive love. Allow your heart to sing once again. You take care of many, but allow yourself to be taken care of. Do you understand?
Yes. Thank you.
You are welcome, dear one. Dear one, you are young. And you can have love in your life again, you see. Allow your heart to beat strongly again. And for you, as you speak of your desire to be with children, allow yourself to have fun again. It feels better to smile, does it not, dear one? See? And for those who are around you and those who view this circumstance, most humans would be wise to smile again, to engage in laughter, to open the heart and connect to the soul. The soul is always smiling. But you humans get so caught up in your day-to-day and what you perceive as problems. And most of what you perceive as problems are simply situations that are easily remedied. But when you anticipate the worst, you pile on and make it an actual problem. And you humans, you must learn to laugh at yourself more. There are foibles and circumstances that are trivial. Allow yourself to be that child. And you can say, oops, for these what you perceive as mistakes are not intentional. They're not fatal. They're circumstances that are easily corrected. Are there questions being sought, dear one?
No, just beautiful, beautiful comments.
As they are saying what you say is beautiful things, allow them to be beautiful in themselves. Yes, dear ones, there are changes afoot, but not to fear them. These events must happen so you can have the lives that you desire. And yes, as this vehicle has said, do not fear an individual coming into power. Do not fear that that individual is the wrong person, for even if it was the wrong person, the correction will come. You are under the protection and the guidance of great hordes of angels. You are not walking alone, dear ones. There is a divine power that is involved here, and you must trust it. For if you base your feelings and your opinions on one day and one event, you shall miss the glory that shall be upon you and the ensuing days and times ahead.
Merlin, there's a question for you. It's from Catherine. Will the censorship stop for healers to speak out, to channel truth?
The healers, as you say, shall speak more loudly than any. The healers are inspired by the divine. And the divine's voice is greater than any. It is time for individuals as such to come forward with courage and confidence, for they are of light, and that light is blinding. Do you understand?
She says yes.
Good. Do your works, dear one. And do not look around as if your head was on a swivel, concerned as to who is monitoring you. Do your works. That is why you are here, and many like you.
She says thank you, and I hear Ed saying it's time to park the car.
Ah. Interesting words you use, dear one. The message is understood. And we shall speak again.
Thank you, my pleasure. An honor. Wow. Welcome. That was wonderful. Merlin, what look, I'm like sweating. The energy is just, it's amazing. Very wise.
Well,
thank you.
You're in close proximity.
Yeah.
And yeah, even when Audrey sits next to Merlin when I do this, it's
no.
like
I feel it like I'm on can feel it through my body. This buzzing.
Cool.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Very insightful. Very calming. Merlin has a very calming energy.
Yeah, Merlin is kind of like that old like uncle or grandfather that's like doesn't get caught up in all the drama. He's like, just settle down. It's going to be okay, you know.
Yeah. No, that was fun. That was lovely. I love when he comes in.
Good.
And he has some messages for me, so
oh, good.
I'm grateful.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. So
look, you know, when we look at life unfold, and this is a really quick story that I'm going to tell, and we talked about, we still have enough time, and I'm interested in an anecdote from you. So sometimes Audrey doesn't remember this story. Everybody knows that 3 months before I met Audrey, I dreamed her in great detail, okay? But one of the things that as life unfolds and you look backwards, you go, oh my God. So back in the days, and some of the people watching are going to know this, back in the mid-'90s, there was the Whole Life Expo. And in those days, it was awesome, okay? It really was about spirituality and all that, and it wasn't about MLMs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay, and back then. And so I would always have a table with the psychics, and this woman came and sat down and had a reading with me, and gave her a really good reading, and we had a connection. This is like 1994, wow. Okay? And so what happened was, speeding through the story, is that I was sitting in my living room at the time as a single guy, and I had her business card, and there was a connection we made. I'm sitting there going, should I call her, in other words, to, like, you know, ask her out? And so that's in the days of Century Cable and public access TV. So I'm sitting there like this, and it was in November, around Thanksgiving, and I turn on my TV, which would automatically come to public access. That's how Century Cable was, Channel 3. All right? Right? Okay? Yes. There comes her in a pre-tape. She had a show on Century Cable.
Oh, wow.
So I'm asking, do I call her or not? I turn on the TV, and there she is. Okay?
Can't get any more signal than that.
Right? Okay, so here's what happens. So I did date that woman on and off for about not even a year and a half. And through her, because that relationship went, I met people, and one key person was this gentleman that was the connection to the connection of how I met Audrey. So if I hadn't met her, and eventually she introduced me to her friend, a longtime friend whose name was Art, and I was throwing a birthday party for him. This was in 1999. And that Audrey was one of the guests at the party. So it's amazing how when you look at, oh, that didn't work out and that one screwed me over and this, it's like, you have to look at your timelines in life and see these events, that how you're being connected. And by the way, this is September the 3rd. September the 11th, which is a week from tomorrow, is 25 years ago that I met Audrey.
Wow.
September 11th, 1999.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah. So,
well, I think so many people I always tell people they want to get to they want to read the end of the story without going through the pages, so they have this perception of what the story's about. Right. You have to go through the pages. That is similar. At 12 years old, I knew I was going to have a boy. I knew I was going to be a mom, and I in the days of magazines and everything, I would cut out pictures and I would draw describing what he would look at 12. And then when I had my son, Christopher, and I knew I was going to have a girl too, but I saw Christopher very vividly. I knew I was going to have a girl. My cousin saw Christopher and said, "That is exactly what you drew." So we have these, and I didn't know how I was 12. Right. I didn't know anything about anything. I knew nothing about nothing.
Right.
So, in retrospect, I didn't know how it was going to come into fruition. There's that knowing, right? So you saw Audrey, you just didn't know the steps. If you had known the steps and tried to read the end of the story, there could have been.
Yes, it would have gone off track. Absolutely. I tell people that. You're not supposed to know everything that happens when we're predicting the future for someone, because it could actually railroad you.
Correct.
And change your timeline. Before we close tonight, please tell the viewers, if they would like a private session with you, how do they get a hold of you?
You could call me. I'm what I call
Gina.
Exactly like that.
It's the Italians.
Like my mom would do it. Gina. My phone number is 310-617-6215, or you can go through my website, which is Gina, G-I-N-A-A-N-N, author.com. And all my email's on there, my phone number's on there. Please reach out if I can be of any assistance. I would be honored to do so.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. No, it was always fun, always insightful, and I got the pleasure of Merlin.
See, there you go.
Thank you.
And remember, October 26th, that is the psychic panel with Gina Ann, myself, Inanna, and Mary Elizabeth. We really look forward to doing that again. It's so much fun.
Amazing.
Right. You don't just have fun. We have fun doing it. Okay.
And that's the key, having fun and playing.
Exactly. So thank you all for watching. Ed, thank you in the booth there. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. This is Mainstream Metaphysics on Conejo Valley Talk Radio. I will be back on here next week with a guest. Please tune in. And remember, everyone, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Fun.